Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Pod 60.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking out of this world.
Yeah, that's nice.
Wow.
So tell us about it.
All right, so last weekend, one of my best buds and I tripped out to Utah for a Spartan Beast. So shout out to that. I'll get into that a little bit later, probably during the Fandom. But this beer was a cause of that trip. We were running in Ogden, which is about 20 miles north of Salt Lake. So my pops, when I told him I was going to Utah, he's like, oh, see if you can stop in at Epic, which is the brewery. And we looked it up. It was like one street off the highway. It was like, all right, it's not even going to take us 20 minutes to get there. We can get the beer, we can get out. Because we were already going to take 8 hours to get to our Airbnb. We had to run the next morning. We weren't going to drink. So if it was going to take like an hour plus, I was like, nah, we'll bail. But we got into Salt Lake. Really shitty infrastructure, by the way, Mormons. You have no idea how to build a city. Good Lord, it was so hard to navigate. Like, it was my first time, but anyway, stopped in. This is Cross Fever. It's an amber ale, and the bottle's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You're not really going to be able to see it because it's deep greens. I suggest you check it out on X and Instagram. It'll be up pretty soon.
Yep.
But it's an amber ale, and it drinks at 5.1. So, I mean, an all-day drinker, and I mean, Zach will only have about 2 more gulps.
Yeah, it's delicious. right up my alley. What'd you say the APV?
At 5, just 5.1, so a nice easy drinker. I also picked up
Damn, I'd be drinking the shit out of that.
a blood orange Heffy.
How'd you think of
That
that?
was very good. It was very good. And it was properly balanced with the wheat and the citrus, which I love that in a wheat. Like, I don't mind the heavy wheated ones sometimes, but I really like it when that citrus kind of comes over the top in my wheat beers. So thumbs up to that. And then I also bought bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout. Well, I gifted that one to my dad.
I was gonna say, what that tastes
That's
like.
why I will hopefully convince him at some point to drink it with me, but I don't know if he just drinks it and tells me. I brought him The Abyss by Deschutes. I found that in like a single, and I was hoping he was going to hold on to that so we could drink it together, and he texted me, he's like, bro, you need to go get another one of those. That was super good. I was like, okay, well, there's that.
Yeah.
So, but if you gift beer, man, you can't, you get to drink it when you want. It's a gift.
Sure.
But speaking of a gift, this is a very tasty brew, so thank you, Epic. Shout out to that. It was cool. We didn't really stay in the brewery too long, but it was a cool little setup. It was just beer too, no food or nothing. There was 3 tables. It was pretty small, pretty quaint, to be fair.
Have you had any other beers or brewskis since we've last been on that we?
Yeah, man. I went down to Pinion a couple of weeks ago, and had a couple a cider down there that was really good, and then also a sour that was really tasty.
Side note, ciders, are you looking more dry or are you looking more
Depends.
Flavorful?
I've been on fruity recently, but I don't mind just a pure dry cider too if it's done well.
I think I prefer the dry ciders a little bit.
Do you try? I like
Those are apple forward traditionally more too.
I like some of those flavors like that. When we done those pear ones that have blown it away, a pineapple one here and there.
Berry one, any dark berry seems to go well in cider. I've found. So but I also, you throw me a semi-sweet, just a golden delicious, or
or just a dry hop, it's still good
for sure.
I also, since we're having an amber, I had an amber the other day. I went to Bighorn Tavern.
Okay. Who is the brewery?
It was a Pizza Port amber.
Yes. Okay.
That one's good.
Classic.
Which Bighorn did you go to? Longleat or not Longleat?
Lakeside.
Lakeside.
Yeah.
There's one on Lakeside now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you get?
Well, I shared some food with Heather, and I also got they had a Trash Panda hazy IPA also, so I had some of those too. It was like a banh mi chicken
I've seen
spicy sandwich.
I don't get it because it's going to be too spicy for me. I know exactly what sandwich you're talking about.
What'd you think, Trev?
Yeah, it was solid. Yeah.
All right, cool.
I went to a couple different places. I went to the Fox, like Chuck said, the one down the street. Dude,
They make some
hella good pizza, bro. Hella good pizza. Beers were good. I had the cherry stout, and I didn't get the red. I was really disappointed I didn't get the red. But I got the Boo Boo Brown, which was good. Angelique got a double. Yeah, Angelique got a double that was, it was a little too much for me on the eating the hops, but
Was that the place that used to be that old Silver Peak? Okay.
Yeah, and then it was also the Huntsman for like
I
3 days.
enjoyed the Huntsman as well.
Yeah.
Their food was not good. Their beer was good. Their food was not good, and I think that's what ended up probably being their downfall.
I went to Engine 8 Urban Winery out by Galax Theaters on Victorian. We were there for 4th of July. We had a room at the Nugget. We had like a free room, so we used it.
Staycation.
Yeah. Well, no, we saw it when we went there. Went there later, so we didn't have.
Cool.
Saw it when we went there. We had Grayson though, so we didn't go in. Sure. But then we went back, and we had a charcuterie board. You know I love my charcuterie boards. The beer selection though wasn't as
much medium.
Yeah, it was more like everybody else's beers. Like I ended up drinking the porter from Deschutes.
Yeah, Black Butte.
Yeah,
classic.
that's what I had. Because it wasn't like I was like hoping to have like some type of specialty. Nothing really, but I did get that. I drank one of those. Then I drank an amber. I don't remember whose amber it was, but then so I went to that place too.
Probably Alaskan would be my best guess.
I wasn't Alaskan. It was something else. It was something else. I can't remember which one. So I went to those places. I'll touch on the baseball games with my fandom. So
yeah, dude. Shout out to that clean looking hat over there.
Yeah, new one. Oh yeah.
All right. So Z, you have some questions. Some welcome back questions.
Well, let's start with the contracts that just got handed out.
The NFL is throwing around some money for some okay guys, right?
Jordan Love signs a 4-year, $220 million extension that puts him in tie for the highest paid player in the NFL. Love's deal also includes a record-setting $75 million.
Signing bonus.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is I think both of these guys fall into the same category, which is you had to, right? Where would you pivot without them, unless you're really willing to, I guess, kind of eat crow this season?
I don't know how you feel, Trev, but I put Jordan Love in could be top tier quarterback-ish, where Tua, I don't think ever gets out of that 12 to 15
middle
range.
tier.
He plays. He works in this offense with Mike McDaniel. Who says he works? He's not a dude that can just go somewhere and work wherever. I think that he is kind of. So when we talk about his contract, I think the Jordan Love contract may be a little pricey, but I think he could be special.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I think we all had Love ahead of Tua. Did any of us have Tua on the list?
No, not really even on the list in consideration.
Mine, he was down.
I would say that.
He didn't make. I don't know if he made.
Love's in more of a consideration. But the thing is, though, it was 8 games. They were very, very good 8 games, but it was 8 games. At least Tua, when healthy. Now I know the head injuries were obviously a massive storyline for him last year, and they can't win a playoff game in cold weather, such and such and so on. There's some definite things around it, but I don't think Tua is a terrible quarterback by any means. And if market dictates this value, what are we going to do this late in going into the new season, right?
Yeah, I would have thought maybe a little bit more expensive than Baker Mayfield, but I don't think while we're talking about it, let me tell you what he got.
But with Jordan Love, the Packers painted themselves in that corner because they only allowed him that much time.
That's very true too. They sat him for so long and they only gave him such a window.
So with their window of time, they had to make a decision. I mean, and there's times where he pops, so that I think we all can see why that he got the contract.
Yes. No. I mean, it once again, I think it falls under the category of you kind of got.
So Tua signs for 4-year contract, same years, but 212, not 220.
That's so much money, man.
I mean, he did lead the league in passing, but we all said, there's parts of his game that there's still questions about too. And both of these guys, I kind of put in the Kirk Cousins category. They're a good quarterback. They're probably a little bit better than average. But for this money, this is what you're going to end up paying them with the market.
Within this, you got a game-winning scenario. You get one of those 2 quarterbacks to go lead the drive. Which one do you take?
Well, it depends on where it's played because it's cold weather. I'm not taking Tua.
Yeah,
okay, we'll call it a nice afternoon playoff day.
I might still take Jordan Love.
Nice afternoon, clear day.
I think I still take Jordan Love. He's more explosive.
No, weather is not an issue.
He's more explosive. with his feet and with his arm.
I mean, I think Love is the better of the two quarterbacks. I mean, but Tua plays in a more explosive offense.
That was the point I was going to say. If you would have flipped the offenses, I think Jordan Love would even elevate Tyreek Hill
even more.
Well, I mean, everyone's ready to elevate him, but he still had some rookie-looking moments. I know he's not a rookie, but I mean, first-time starter moments where just
field general rookie for sure.
And that will, that should get better with time, but it's still not quite there.
So on top of this, who's the next quarterback that's getting paid?
It's
Purdy, right?
Or
they don't have to.
Purdy,
Dak will probably get paid before Purdy.
So who gets paid first, in your guys' opinion?
I think Dak does.
You think Dak does? You think he gets paid this year? Because doesn't Purdy have to get paid at the end of next year?
Yeah, they don't have to pay him until next year. We'll see. I mean, I imagine they're going to try and figure out Ayuk, now Trent Williams, and Debo wants more money, so it's
the rent checks are coming due.
It's coming quick.
The rent checks are coming due.
And with Dak,
what do you think?
Who's going to get paid?
Dak or Purdy first? Who gets the contract?
Well, Dak is going to be this year. It's going to be this year. Whether it's the Cowboys,
I don't know.
He has to because he's going to be a free agent.
I think he's going to be a free agent.
Right, but what I'm saying though is he'll get a contract before Purdy does because Purdy can go into next year without a new one. Dak has to have a new one to play on any team.
But yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
No years remaining.
Because do we all think that Dak's going to be in a different uniform next season?
I think that the option's way more into that than yes. I lean more yes than no. They would have signed him already.
That's where I lean as well. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, when you're just watching the bag get thrown around in multiple different directions.
They fucked that up.
They fucked up that rent check's going to come due too. You can't necessarily just ignore that entirely.
Who's the next wide receiver that gets paid?
Well,
you got Brandon Ayuk that's out there that wants money. You got Jamar Chase that's out there that's wanting money. Both those guys are kind of holding out. Who's getting the bag?
Now with Niners, they don't have to pay him either. He's under contract, and it would for him to sit out. It just hurts him. He doesn't have any power.
Same with Chase. Chase is still under contract too. They're both still under.
And the Bengals owners don't like to spend money, so
I will say. You are going to see a significantly downgraded Bengal offense without Jamar Chase. He is clear WR1 material. Yes. I'm not saying Ayuk is bad, but as far as like the percentage of touches, a target
it's a different offense.
Right. No, I agree. But I'm just saying, would you rather give Jamar Chase $30 million or give Brandon Ayuk $30 million?
Jamar, I would, yes. 100%.
I think that one's a pretty easy one. Ayuk is just... If he doesn't have any leverage, I understand feeling undervalued. I get that. But without leverage, the team doesn't have to make a move. And if you can't force them to, why would they? Especially when you're on a Super Bowl ready team. Like, it's not like you're on some fucking shit team and you're trying to, figure out 7 wins a year. You're going to NFC championships and Super Bowls, bro. Like,
no, the way that it looks like it's being played out is, things are going to come to an end after the season. But this season, they're going to push it as long as they can.
The Niners got some big decisions to make.
Fungus contract's got to be coming up soon too.
Yeah, he's another contract after this year.
Right? He was pretty busted up most of last
year. He was out most of last year, so that was another thing that hurt. And kind of young safety room because we drafted another safety. We drafted Brown last year, and he started to play well towards the end. So we'll see how it goes.
We're going to see how it goes. I think it should go. I think once he gets into the situation, people are just going to shut the fuck up and play football.
Yeah.
Especially when you start winning. Like, and Ayuk doesn't want to cost himself bread to make what point? To make what point, really? Just waste a year of your career to say what?
Yeah, no.
Because you're Le'Veon Bell?
It's not worth it. You might as well just go out and ball.
Yeah, dude, you're under contract.
You're going to get that bigger contract with your ball.
Right. Your leverage is minimal at best. And I mean, unless you come out and you look so flat without that offset of Ayuk there, right? Like Debo can't get it done, Kittle can't.
Jennings and then the new kid,
Pearsall, who's on the pop right now, isn't he?
Yep. That's great.
What are your guys' thoughts? So do you watch the Olympics? And then what are your thoughts? Do you watch the Olympics?
Let's cut before the Olympics. Let's cut before the Olympics. It pisses me off. I gotta stay with. So we're gonna cue into the Olympics.
Yeah, let's just start off with the Olympics. Well, we'll start off with the chairs.
My fast forward didn't work neither, my friend.
Boys.
I did a little bit better than you, but not by much.
I wasn't paying attention, honestly.
Oh, somebody got the weed of you? Some more path. Some smoky. Fucking bunker over here. Kill the battery. I grabbed what I went down to the Wing Fest yesterday.
What did you think?
I mean,
He didn't talk about that.
I did not forget about it. It was good. That's why I guess I had this really good whiskey Arnold Palmer. That was pretty tasty. But and then I haven't any beer. Just full, baby. Where you at? What's the drink at? Brewed and canned Turlock, California. 6.3. Alright, we're live, so I'll get a little cheers action.
We just poured a new brewski. Let's get a little cheers before we jump into some questions I got since I've been missing. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. It smells interesting. A little Dust Bowl IPA, hazy IPA as it were. Peace, love, and haze. So, I would say right off the rip, it kind of almost, kind of has a weedy flavor.
I thought that too. I thought that too. I was trying to catch what else it had, but I definitely had the wheat flavor.
Yeah, which is interesting because you think for an IPA you're going to get hops. Schnapps.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
With the color, I thought we'd get more fruit.
Yeah, I was expecting more fruit.
yeah, none of that though.
It's not very.
So 6.3 out of Turlock, California, and upon my initial review, we'll let it go. We'll let it keep drinking. See how it opens up as we go along.
What do you guys watch the Olympics? Not just the b-ball or whatever. Do you guys like sit down and watch
I was
it?
watching the Olympics right before we got together because that's just what was on at the folks' house. Shout out to my boss for making a killer brisket tonight. Oh my god, I smoked for like 15 hours. That's fun. But I watched archery, fencing. I fell asleep during the horse. There was a question.
Yeah, I saw some of that today.
That shit doesn't look interesting. The fencing's pretty cool. And then the archery was, it came down with the ladies between Korea and China, and they did a 3-person shoot off because they tied in the gold medal. That was cool. So yes, I really like the Olympics. I love worldly competition. I love that it's the one time where we actually get along for like this amount of time.
I catch like bits and pieces myself. It's kind of sometimes it's one of those things you just kind of have on in the background.
Right.
If I'm doing stuff, if I'm at home. Try to watch some of the basketball games, but even then can be difficult with my schedule. So it's kind of hit or miss for me.
Yeah, I'm about the same with you, T. It might be on the background, but if there's other stuff on it, unless it's something I'm interested in, I'm probably not sitting down and watching it.
Do you like winter more than summer?
I'm about 50-50 either way.
Okay.
Same thing. It could be on in the background, and if there's something on that I like want to watch, I'll sit down and watch it. But it's one of those time fillers or that noise filler when you're cooking dinner. You're kind of popping in and out, checking in.
YouTube for.
Yeah.
There's how Balls&Brews.
Next question. Olympics basketball.
USA.
What do you guys feel about them not taking Jalen after Kawhi gets sent?
Oh, that doesn't bother me. I mean, Derek White is a good player as well. It didn't matter who they really put there. The rest of that lineup's pretty stacked anyway, right? Like,
Sure, but
Trev's got some.
does that? I mean, it just doesn't seem like it fits with the rest of the team. Am I wrong? We have all these superstars, and then you got a role player, and he's a good role player.
The dude just won fucking Finals MVP and won Eastern Conference MVP.
And no one even talked to him or talked about him until after they already made like another selection. Like He didn't even seem like he was in the thought of.
It's kind of different. It kind of makes you think about what he said about Nike and kind of that other stuff. He kind of got blackballed. Like if you kind of got blackballed from the Olympics.
What did he say about Nike? There was some drama between him and Nike.
Yeah, he brought up something about Nike one time, and then I think it had to do maybe one time with when Kyrie said something, and he might have agreed to it or said something back about Nike. Like Nike dropped, I think it was when Nike dropped Kyrie, and then Jalen answered back like, "Oh, like something about you guys are good." So, but they've been talking about that on the radios that it could be like a Nike holdout, like telling him, I don't know. It seems weird. It seems off. Something does seem off there, in my opinion. Dude just won like conference MVP and finals MVP.
And I mean, this is one of the better rosters, I think, for the Olympics that the NBA has put together, but it felt like it would have been more of a dream team with him than
A role player.
Yeah.
I put some respect on Derek White.
Dude, I love Derek White. I wish he played.
He was champion too.
I wish he was on my team.
No, he was number 3 on that Celtics team. It's not like he was.
Well, Drew Holiday was on the Olympic team too. But he's like their defender though. He's there for locking it down, locking some of the guards.
I don't understand some of these decisions though. Are we trying to get the best team out there, or are we trying to get a dream team together? Like the same for ladies basketball too. It just.
Good segue.
I mean, okay.
Did you watch any of the WNBA versus the USA team?
No, I wanted to. I missed it.
I did not.
WNBA won though.
They sure did.
117 to 109.
Yes.
It was a good game. The point. Is there a point to be proven there that they didn't, take Clark and Reese, and without that, neener.
Well, if from what I saw from the game though, Team USA was definitely using it more as an exhibition game. Like there seemed like they had sets that they were running and players working with certain players.
Sure.
The competition
like extension of the practice
was still there. It was probably the best all-star game in basketball for who knows how many years because they seem to care.
Sure.
So that made it great. But I don't know what else to say about that. Like, there's definitely some of those WNBA players that maybe should be on that Olympic squad.
I think it's going to be good for Caitlin, though, not being on that squad because her legs kind of haven't looked like they've been under her. She's been playing for almost a year straight now with college because now these rookies come in and they literally have only been off like 3 weeks.
If they made a deep run in the NCAA playoffs, you're looking at like 2.5, 3 weeks because then even though the regular season doesn't start since you're a rookie, your rookie minicamp is like right there. You get drafted and you're in that uni in like a week. Like it's different for sure. The timeline is very, very
So I think it'd be nice so that she can come out second half and just start fucking lighting it up.
I mean, she's finally in a rhythm, dude. She really has been. She's got triple doubles going down.
We talked about the record 19 assists.
Okay, all I can do is shoot. Here, break this record real quick. Oh yeah.
Her vision, I noticed that last year. Her vision of the court when she
You know why people like her? Is because she goes out there and she looks like a fluid basketball player. She looks like she knows what she's fucking doing. Like, the knock on the WNBA is even the most talented of players didn't look smooth a lot of the times. It didn't look fluid. It wasn't a pretty game to watch. Caitlin Clark has a gorgeous basketball game to watch. Like, is she a little turnover prone? Sure. But, overall, 19 assists, and she had only 3 turnovers, I think, that game. 2 or 3 turnovers, so the ratio is really good. She can stroke it from anywhere on the fucking floor.
That's getting more familiarity with your team
with
too.
shooters.
Get more familiarity with your team. You've only now you and the team are starting to kind of connect. So that's taking away from turnovers. That's adding more assists.
She passes the eye test, man. She's a great ball player.
Let's jump back to the NBA. Since I've been gone, there's been a lot of free agency going on. What is your favorite move that happened in free agency, whether it's a trade or whether it's a free agent signing? And then we'll see what comes up, and then maybe we'll ask questions on that.
I hate to say it, but it was the Heavenstein from The to the Thunder. I hate to say that, but that's exactly what they needed.
With the Alex Caruso's trade too.
Yeah,
they're looking nice. Favorites.
They're making the most of their upcoming potential, and I didn't say upcoming because they were the number 1 seed a year ahead of schedule.
I'm glad you said that, dude. That was my pick. That Harkinson signing was like, you're right, dude. That's exactly what they fucking needed. Another big body, but like a bruiser, dude. 100%, Chuck.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't endorse it, but as I'm supposed to be non-objective because this isn't the fandom. That was a great move. That was an absolutely great move.
For sure.
And the Caruso trade, so now you get your defender in there and a veteran.
Yeah.
So you kind of got 2 bruisers.
Because they were like, Giddy, you're giving up a lot in Giddy. It's like, no, they didn't really need him, though. They didn't use him effectively. So
yeah, the Caruso fits with Shea way better.
Yeah, agreed. I hate that. Boo.
So then what? So I got 2 questions about a couple other moves. What did you guys think of Paul George 76ers deal?
Cool.
Go ahead, Trevor.
I mean, everyone is talking about the 76ers need to make this move, and they made this move, and it seems like a good fit on paper. Like, there are definitely a lot of people on ESPN are picking the Sixers now because of that.
Caleb Martin signed with the Sixers as well.
Oh, yeah, that's under the radar, too. So, definitely, I think they're going to be a little bit further ahead.
Healthy-wise, if you could keep Embiid on the floor with Maxey and George, and he's healthy going into the playoffs.
Sounds wonderful.
Sounds
wonderful. It sounds like you can score at all 3 levels. Sounds like you got defense. Sounds like you got length.
But you bring up the biggest point: is health. If that team can be healthy at the end of the season, they're going to be the favorite.
You're going to have to manage.
Or they'll be just as likely to win as
You're going to have to manage his minutes in my. You just can't play him all the time. You're going to have to load manage him. He can't go a full season.
Yeah, they should load manage him.
Chucky, you got anything to add?
I mean, you guys pretty much covered all bases with it. I think the overall PG hasn't really been able to settle in ever since he left Indiana. He's been kind of popping around. He didn't even really work in LA as well as he should have. That team should have been a lot more successful. They never even made a conference championship with all that money and all that time and effort. So
Clippers gonna clip.
I guess so.
Clip.
It just happens to some franchises for sure. But good for him for getting what he thought he was due as far as his contract. He got to a team that he's going to go into a contender and make better instantly.
And I like to see him go to like a contender too. Yeah. Like some of the players that are just getting that.
I like Paul George.
Bag. I mean, that's all good.
Traditionally, I do as well. I have nothing really negative to say about him, but he does need to recognize that even though his game is still very good, he needs to limit himself as far as like, wear and tear. It's evident.
Yeah, definitely. I think that success of that team also really relies heavily on Maxey. Maxey's got to be kind of that lead guy. Let
real big.
George kind of just settle in and
sure.
You're
only counting on him for 17 to 20, not 20 to 30 or whatever. For sure.
Next one I want to ask you guys about is the trade. Nets trade Bridges to the Knicks for 5 first-rounders.
Steep price, but it's a perfect
and like a conditional second, right, or something.
Yes,
there were like true. 6 total picks.
Trev, you love it? You like it? It sounds like you love it.
The Nova Knicks.
He's a Tibbs guy. They got all those UConn players, so you know it's going to be a chemistry fit. Or not UConn, I'm sorry. Villanova. Yes. The Nova Knicks, that's right.
Yeah. It's always nice when they can alliterate, even though technically one's an N and one's a K.
But I feel like...
Are you not worried that now you're super guard heavy?
They are. Like, that is the one kind of thing. I mean, it's nice with having Tibbs though. I just feel like it's gonna work because the chemistry should be there from the start.
If they can get Charlie fucking 80% of Julius Randle next year, that squad is gonna be fucking lethal. Like, you are very slight, I guess I would say, as far as like size. That is a concern. But if you can find a way to put together, they needed that. That was a super smart one. But if they can find a way to
that Brunson deal.
He took 120 million less than he could have.
So after Chuck finishes his thought, I think I got.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you can find a system for that. There's a bunch of talent, and if you can at least there can be unorthodox ways to put together a smaller lineup and make them effective. It's not like it's not going to work. And they wouldn't have swung with this much equity if they didn't think that they had a fucking plan in place, right? This isn't throwing a dart on like an undrafted or a 6th or 7th round pick or whatever. This is like you're committing the future of your franchise right now to this move.
And that's kind of why I like it for the Knicks. Even though it is guard heavy, I think these players they're going to work together. So
symmetry, when you have chemistry, if
you have injuries, it's easier for the other guys to step in. And if you're healthy, then I think there'll be better chemistry with the guys anyways.
Can we not all just say that Jalen Brunson is a man of the people? He's a man of this pod. I'm a man of Jalen Brunson taking that less money, dude. That's like I'm all about that. I think he's a fucking. What we saw in the playoffs, he's a stud, he's a killer, and then taking that less money, dude. If we had a hero, like we have our shit list,
we got a hero list,
and then we got a hero, Jalen Brunson's on that, dude. I love it. I love him taking the less money.
Do you think that's a little? I mean, you only have a finite amount of time to play basketball. You're only going to sign so many contracts, like. I get it, and I love it too, but like, don't you kind of think that it's like you kind of passed up a bigger opportunities personally for yourself, but here's what I think. Here's what I think is he's in the New York media, which is the biggest place in the world, and if he becomes a media darling out there, money's just gonna come from fucking everywhere. He's gonna have local deals and sponsorships, and he's everywhere he goes, he eats for free, and they're gonna give him cars and houses.
And you talk about him missing out on like some money though, but what if he gains if the Knicks win? If the Knicks win it all, right? It's all worth it. If he doesn't win it all, then you're gonna have maybe those questions about your head.
Yeah, but if you go out and get 3 chips in 5 years or some shit like
one
that,
chip, you're still gonna be the king of New York.
Hero of New York, dude.
That's true, because they haven't had one since like the 70s, right? Like late 70s, early 80s, something like that. Yeah. It's been at least 40 plus years.
I just think it's badass by him. I love it.
I mean, it's a very, from a fan perspective, it's like hell yeah, dude. Way to look out for the team, and way to put the emphasis of chip in front of personal stats, because So I mean, but it's. If you guys botch that money and nothing comes from it, I feel really bad for the dude. But it's
really bad. He's got generational wealth regardless.
Yeah, 153 million.
But I
120.
I love it though. I absolutely love it.
I love it in one aspect, and I'm nervous as shit in the other. Like,
is there any other free agent deal that you'd like to touch on? And the Klay Thompson.
To Denver. Not Denver, I'm sorry. Dallas. Yeah.
What do you think of it? I want to know your thoughts. I understand it. I don't know how much of a fan I am of the fit.
I'm sure you thought he fit.
I think it's a perfect fit.
Well, I just think that, we'll use Kyrie and Luka.
I think it's a perfect fit. I really do. You got Derek Lively in the middle still, so you got some length there. You had that other guy. You still have PJ Washington, who can kind of play a swing 3 or 4. Like
Dallas is missing those threes in the playoffs.
And if all you're going to ask is the spot-up shooter to find his stroke in a team that's going to be successful.
What about defensively now, though?
That's the thing.
Well, he's not a liability, though. He's not all-pro Klay, but he's not a shit defender by any means.
It's fallen off quite a bit, but if he can just step it up when they get to that point, then that's all they'll want. That's all they can want from him. So it doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be at the right time.
I just didn't love the fit as much as I thought. A lot of mouths to feed. Defensively, now you're kind of 3 guys aren't really great defensively. Doncic played better finally, and Kyrie kind of played finally better. But I was a little hesitant on that move.
The mouths to feed though, Klay's not a ball dominant player, so.
He scored 53 points on 13 dribbles or something.
there was a crazy stat like that. But pretty much, if he's feeling it, you get him in the game. If he's not, then he's probably not going to get that much.
That's true. I bet you it'll kind of go night by night with him, right? Like when he's got the stroke, you leave him out there for another 5 to 6 minutes. When he doesn't, you sit him down.
It's still going to be heavy losing.
Because he didn't take, like, you didn't have to give up a shit big ton of money to get him in to place either. It was only it was 50 for 2, right? 25 mil? That's, in today's NBA, that's a schmedium contract. Like,
I like the contract.
There's nothing to fucking stop him.
Don't get me wrong. Because I thought he would have fit better, like with that.
Yeah, I'm saying.
LeBron does.
Who did? Remember the guy from the Hawks that came from the Spurs a lot.
DeJounte Murray.
Who did he get traded to? Did he go to the Magic?
He did get moved.
Who'd the Magic get? We're gonna have to look.
I don't think the Magic got it.
We'll have to come back with the answer. I thought the Magic, because I also thought Clay on the Magic was a better fit. Can give them that veteran leadership and a knockdown shooter. That's why I thought a good fit. And he goes to the East. That's why I thought that was the one I was.
I think he sees his opportunity to get another ring in Dallas. I think he sees ascension there, and he wants to go into a place where he knows his role. They respect him. Like he's gonna get well due in there, even though and he doesn't have to be the guy. He doesn't have to go there and answer a shitload of questions. He goes there, soaks up some money, makes some more 3-pointers, and pushes for a chip. You might not get another one, but put yourself in contention. That's always smart. I like Orlando, and I think that they might be building something, but dude, there's so many better teams than them right now, and Dallas, I think, is in front of Orlando even right now. So,
and the Cavs, my guy.
D-Mitch re-signed. Yeah, they gave a big-ass fucking contract to
Mobley, my other guy.
Mobley. Yeah.
He played better.
They gave him $200 million. They gave him a maxi.
Yeah, he's getting better. I like him.
Wow.
The team that's got endless money, if you're talking about these contracts that are coming, the fucking Celtics just be re-signing fucking everybody.
Yeah, $1 billion.
Dude, they re-signed Derek White to a big-ass contract. They just signed that Hauser. They just signed that Hauser guy to a big-ass contract.
That's why they're for sale.
Dude, that second curtain or whatever the fuck they call it's
second apron.
Yeah, it's gonna come falling down on them real quick. But they are thinking that they can pay the money in the luxury tax, so if they don't have to make any trades or anything, then they'll be fine, right? Because that's basically all the second apron takes away from is your ability to trade, right?
Yeah, that fucking locker room set, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, and they're barring some catastrophic injuries in a row or something. That team is okay with paying that much money. It's the Celtics, dude. They're technically the most successful franchise of all time.
Fuck you.
Wow.
They are. I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean,
you know what, man? Just wait for fucking the Lakers to move to Kansas City, and then you can.
He got traded to the Pelicans. DeJounte Murray went to the Pelicans. So he's on the Pelicans.
So is Ingram still there?
And CJ.
And is Zion even still under
contract? He's on
still alive.
Yeah. He had a good year.
Where is Zion at?
He had a good year. He's still there. Dude, that's a crazy roster if you start thinking about it. If you got DeJounte Murray, Ingram, and CJ.
You can make that work. And if Williamson stays healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, good look up. I like that spot. That was a good grab.
I do remember him getting traded, and I just could not. I thought it was the Magic. I thought the Magic got somebody, though.
They got Caldwell Pope, CP3.
Oh, that's right. That was a great signing.
That's why they didn't go after Clay.
I held on. When he has
similar players.
Yep.
KCP's better defender, I would say.
At this point, yes. At this point, for sure.
I mean, yeah.
That's.
You guys catch Home Run Derby and or All-Star Game? MLB?
Not the Derby. I loved the game. I watched the game. It was one of the best All-Star
Other
games.
than jerseys, I fucking agree.
Jerseys were the worst things I've ever seen in my life. That's exactly what I texted the group. That's exactly what I said. I was like, these are painful to watch.
So Home Run Derby hats, epic.
Okay.
Home Run Derby hats were great because they looked like that, but not the color. The design with the 2 lines and the star, but it was your team's color.
Nice.
So the hats were sick. Home Run Derby was a fucking home run again. Dude, it was full of drama. They'd have a swing off. You had a guy lose by 1 home run and the ball hit the warning track. Not hit the warning track, hit the wall. So he missed a home run by 2 feet. Dude.
It's probably
MLB had a fucking in my book they won it. They had another great All-Star weekend and they won the All-Star weekend out of every All-Star shit we deal with.
That's what I was gonna say. And I think the MLB has figured out their formula for success when it comes to their All-Star weekend. It's more of an attraction. Like, people care. The NBA All-Star game is just a rest. People are, they really don't give a shit about it.
The home run derby, you get stars. The slam dunk contest, you don't get stars. You get guys that right from the G League that are winning it.
Matt McClung, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get these up and comers like Bobby Witt Jr., who's maybe one of the best shortstops playing for the Royals. You get Gunnar Henderson, the kid for fucking the Orioles, coming up.
Balling.
Tanasco Hernandez won it, dude. He's balling for the Dodgers. You get all these guys, and I don't know, man. Another home run derby is awesome, and I agree with Chuck, dude. The game was fucking.
Shohei spanked that three-runner was just like, oh! Like, it was, that game was great.
Dude, and Skeens came out.
That was awesome.
Throwing. Miller comes out, he's throwing. You got all these guys coming out doing their thing. Side note, A's Miller, last win for an Oakland A pitcher in the All-Star game, because they will no longer be the Oakland A's. So he got a win in the All-Star game. That's pretty cool. He got the dub.
So because you're going to be the Sacramento A's?
Or just the A's, I don't know. I don't know what to call myself. I got this out at the game, which I'll talk about.
The Oakland, you botched it, man.
Dude, it's still not done. There's some crazy
They
articles.
botched all of it.
So trade deadline's coming up on Tuesday. Trev, you're in the selling seat. Chuck, you're in the buying seat.
I heard
What
that
are you?
Snell might be on the move.
Trev, what are you thinking, T-Money? You thinking you're selling here? Is Snell done? Anybody other?
It wasn't a great start. I mean, the Rays have been selling more than anybody else
dude.
right now.
They're
shipping
almost
it
fire
out
sale.
right
Well,
now.
that's who I actually traded with. We picked up the left fielder.
I saw
I can't remember his name.
They're infielders too.
the whole team's been shipped out. I saw a couple of
I
beavers.
think they're looking up at the AL East 20 games back and just saying, dude, we might as well salary dump and just reformulate because we are not competitive. Like, that AL East is staunch at the top right now between the Yankees and the Red Sox. Like,
O's.
and the O's as well.
O's winning it right now.
And the O's as well. Yeah, it's fucking that division has really stepped up overall. Yankees kind of been waffling, which is good.
For the Giants, I think they probably should be sellers. I think they're gonna. I don't know how they're gonna play it though, because with the coming off of injury, just with the slow start that they had, I don't know if they're gonna want to take a deeper look or if they're ready to move.
Charlie?
Well, the NL West is, obviously you got the Dodgers and you have the Padres are still playing pretty good ball. Like, that division is.
Padres got one of the guys from the Rays.
Then you got, the Diamondbacks who
Yeah,
are, I was going to say, returning NL champs right now. So, that division outside of you guys is super tough. So if you can move some of those pieces, I can see why you would.
Yeah, it might be a good time to take a page out of the Rays playbook and just build prospects.
Sometimes you gotta dump, man. Sometimes, because unless you have faith in this team and you generally want to keep it together, then you just ride. Then you just don't make any moves.
Sure.
Like, you can do that too. But I think that one's kind of almost more frustrating, right? Like, do something. Whether it's buy or sell, do fucking something.
I don't really want to do anything.
Well, I can understand that though. Like, I feel bad overall. I know I shit on Oakland and I clown on it, and I shouldn't, because I understand more so than anybody at this table about losing a team. But
I don't understand it at all.
well, you never will. I don't think the Giants or the Niners are ever in jeopardy.
Well, I just don't. I think Brooker might go. He had another bomb today. Miller, you said
San Francisco.
Miller's got, we have him under contract long enough that I don't think you sell the house on him yet, right? Because, I think you hold him, you're moving to a new city. I think he's right now one of your, draws. So I think you got to hold him. I really don't want Rooker to go, but I could see you trade them. Right now, that's probably the only pieces, and you're obviously not a buyer, so that's where we're going.
Lambs we've been buying a little bit. We've already been swinging some different deals here and there. Nothing too drastic. We just need to get healthy. We got a couple of guys, JP Crawford and Julio, both been out the last couple of weeks, and we stumbled coming out of the All-Star break. We swept the series against the lowly
White Sox this weekend. So, I mean, it's kind of nice to get back in
They
the
could be
win
sellers.
column,
They just need to just stop playing baseball this year. They just need to.
They're going to be sellers. They got some pieces. That
Yeah,
can go.
but they buy it. They've had 2 14-game losing streaks this season.
Yeah, they could be a seller. I can see some of the big names like Kopech, the closer. Luis Roberts could be a hitter coming off that board. I could see them sell a little bit. That Dylan Cease kid that threw that no the other day, he's from but he was traded to the Padres from the White Sox. He was white. He was a White Sox.
Oh, there you go. I mean, sometimes there's a little change of scenery does the body well.
Yeah.
So there you go, man. First segment. Next one coming up. Watch out. The NFL season, we are 6 weeks away. So
6 weeks.
It's it, baby. 6 weeks from this weekend. We are so close. So we're gonna start giving you divisional breakdowns. We're gonna go ahead and start in the East.
Yep.
All right.
Thumbs up.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys.
I'm excited to taste this.
Oh, honey.
That's the name.
I like that.
I do too. I mean, I've been searching for a blonde. I think I might have found one.
I like blondes.
It only drinks at 4.2. Right out of here in our good old local Reno, Nevada, 10 towards the brewery.
Cool brewery if you can go see it.
It is pretty chill. It's just down off of Mill Street. That's like, it's not too far from here, to be fair.
Yep.
But they're drinking beer. I really like they're one of the only places that there's a mixed cocktail ready to drink that I like.
You like that lemonade?
Yeah, a lot. The lemonade,
Yeah.
I'll slam. Yeah, put that bitch on. So let's go.
They do a couple though. That's not, they do. I mean, they have a lot of.
Margarita and a G&T.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's delicious. I think it's very crisp.
Yeah,
I like
I
how
was
That's a good way to describe it.
worried it was going to be more full
Yes.
body because I feel like a lot of blondes are.
Bon's hot, from being honest.
I like it a little lighter.
I do like how crisp it is, and it's not as heavy. You're right, Trevor. Some blondes can be like more like the wheats.
Yep.
All right, so let's jump into the NFC East rankings. So I'll call the 4 teams out, and then everybody call them 1 through 4. And then
Lead
we'll
us
jump
off.
to the top.
Lead us off.
So the 4 teams in the NFC East are the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Commanders. Charlie, what is your 1 through 4 in this division?
I'm on the spot. All right. Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants.
And I think the reason being there's so much drama in Dallas that they're not going to be able to get over the hump. I think that the Eagles, even though they did lose Jason Kelsey, I know that that's a big deal when it comes to leadership and potentially the run game and protection. And you never like losing a center that's been there for over a decade. But they brought in Kellen Moore, and they also brought, who did they bring in for DC? They changed their DC.
No, the Eagles changed to Big Fangio.
That's it. Right. So they're bringing in more proven on the defensive end. They won the draft at secondary. Like, I think the Eagles are going to win because I think Dallas has a good roster, but there's so much uncertainty. Like, I think that drama is going to just crack through that team throughout the year. Like, there's going to be so much. Oh, when are you getting a contract? When are you getting a contract? Are you going to be here? Who's going to be here? Is Jerry Jones, going to control the team? Like, I think that there's too much going on there. And then I like what the Commanders have done. Getting Jaden Daniels. I like the Austin Eckler signing. I thought that they had made some pretty decent. They signed Bobby Wagner, who led the NFL in tackles last year. Like, Dan Quinn is kind of a question mark. As the last time we saw him as a head coach, he blew a 28-3, lead in the Super Bowl. But he is known to put good defenses out there. Don't sleep on Brian Robinson. Don't sleep on Logan Thomas. Like, if Jaden Daniels can light it up with some of those players, I think third is reasonable because as much as I love this Hard Knocks by the Giants, oh my God, NFL, by the way, real quick, sidebar within this, that has been the best piece of media I have experienced.
That's what they say.
It is phenomenal. It's edge of your seat entertainment, like, because it's real. It is real. Like,
It's the behind the scenes, the fly on the wall that you want to
you've
learn
always
about your
wanted
team.
You've always wanted it, yeah. And like, I love how raw it is. They really just
full, I wonder if they ham it up maybe a little bit, right? Because they know, the cameras are in there, whatever. But anyway, I think roster-wise, they still got a long way to go. I do like what they did getting Brian Burns, and if that D-line does play up to their potential, they might be able to eke out a few more wins. But I'm going Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants.
Sure.
I'm pretty similar. A lot of the same thoughts. I feel like the Eagles have the best roster in this division. One of the better rosters, actually, in the NFC.
Agreed.
I feel like they're too good to just let this slip through their fingers. With the talent they have on that team.
I love them giving AJ and Devontae deals because you lock up your boys. You invest in a very important position, and you say there's no market. This is who we have.
Saquon. Come on, if he's healthy, man, that team on offense has some scary weapons.
If they don't finish first, what's his face is gone.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Dallas, they didn't really gain much. They lost more than they gained. It felt like they lost a little offensive line. They still have
No running back.
No running back. They've got
Zeke's coming back, baby.
yeah, that. You got CD holding out. Parsons wants his money. Dak's not getting paid probably until the next season. But
Yeah.
They still have enough talent to come in second, though. They really do.
They do. That defense is good. It is easily the best in the division.
I had them as second as well, but I think it's going to be a close second, third.
I think
But
so too.
almost as we go down it and we pull playoffs after we do all our divisions, I'm wondering if I have even two teams from the division making playoffs. Dude, I'm not sure the Cowboys even get to 10.
Really?
This year. I think there's so much dysfunction. You have no running back. Your receiver doesn't want to play. You really don't have another weapon. You do have a tight end. The kid who plays tight end's nice. But I just don't really love a lot of that. That roster's fallen apart, and now you got a lot of people wanting cash. Defensively, your corners are nice, and you got Parsons that always give you something. But I don't know. I don't know if you get two teams from the playoffs in this division.
Yeah, it might be
It's a hard take because I think most people are penciling in Dallas.
Yeah,
I don't know if I am. I think that if we go through it, I think that when we get to the end,
you're saying Dallas is going to struggle.
I think they're 9. I think they're a 9-win team. I think they're going to struggle. The offensive line changes.
3-4.
3 and 4 is Commanders are real close to the Cowboys, and Giants are an easy dead last. Giants are.
I think the Giants are actually closer to the Commanders, just because I think that defense is going to keep them in games, and I think if they're healthy,
they don't have a running back either.
Wait, did we unanimously vote those?
Yes.
Philly, Dallas, Commanders, Giants.
Yes.
So we're all 1 through 4.
Yeah, there's not a big variation. Like I think the
Giants
Commanders and Giants could have a similar record.
I agree.
But you like the Commanders better.
I like the Commanders better. I think that you can protect Jalen just a little bit with the weapons on that team. They're already kind of ready to rock and roll. All those receivers.
The defense is bad though.
The defense can't. But you got Quinn coming in. You brought a linebacker in. You've made some.
It's Quinn and Wagner pretty much running the show though.
Forbes did not have a very good rookie.
No, he didn't have a very good rookie.
He got experience, and that cornerback that's invaluable. So
and you got some D. You still have a couple D linemen there.
You still have Allen. They're not putting out a scrub defense, and with bringing in a defensive-minded head coach. Let's be honest, Rivera at his peak, Rivera was a Super Bowl attending head coach. He went 15-1 that year with Cam Newton.
I still can't believe they got to the Super Bowl that year.
Oh, and Von Miller absolutely wrecked that game. That was single-handedly he won that game for the Broncos. Anyway,
not that year. It was the other year with the other quarterback.
With DeLong?
Yeah, I was surprised he got
Steve Smith.
That was against the Patriots. That was the Patriots. Panthers. What a weird matchup. I'm like, that was Brady's first.
Moose and Muhammad, no, that was his second.
Was that his second?
Oh, first was the Rams. Yeah. Moose and Muhammad was on that team still, right? So let's jump into a little roster looking, a little news. He's not bad now. little roster looking at, our little
Sure.
team.
A little bit more
I'll
individual
start since
breakdown.
we all picked the Eagles
Yep.
for go one. I think,
Well, you touched on Saquon. I think that's got to be the number
I think it also has to be what Hurts does. If Hurts going to play, what Hurts do we get?
Sure.
If Hurts is going to be mediocre like last year, they could be in trouble. Hurts has got not to play as a superhero like he did the year before, but he's got to find a balance in between last year and the year before.
Well, and I think that having the safety net of Saquon and really growing, you have A.J. Brown and Devontae and Dallas Goedert. You have talent dripping all
Right, and you got C.J. Uzma you picked up. That's what I'm saying is
talent
talent rich. And then at running back too, you drafted Shipley and you still have Gainwell. We were all big fans of Kenneth Gainwell before the season too.
But how does the Kelsey departure hurt?
You got Cam Jurgens coming in.
That's so good.
So you do have him. I still think you still have Landon Dickerson, all pro. You still have Lane Johnson if he stays healthy. So you still have a line that's pretty good.
Going into the season, top 10. Yeah, everybody.
So that's the one dude. Johnson goes down or Dickerson.
Hurts also does have legs,
Right.
So he compensates.
But unless he's hurt, then he can't use them. Because last year there was that whole thing that maybe he was.
He's never played with a running back like Saquon. Swift had quite a good year, but he's not Saquon.
No.
Like this, Daniel Jones got a contract on the back of Saquon Barkley.
Well, and then defensively, your DBs didn't play good last year.
But they won the draft in that aspect
You
as
did.
far
You
as
have-
paper.
You have a lot of dudes you're bringing in that are awesome with the Davis and Carter. You got Bryce Huff, which I thought was one of the better signings under the table signings. Your linebackers weren't good last year, but now you're one more year in with Devin White, Nakobe Dean, and Smith. I mean, Devin White's a new guy, right? Devin White just signed, didn't he?
Devin White signed with the Eagles.
Yep. And then you got Quinion. Yep. And you got Quinion and you got CJ. So you worked on your DBs, but your defense underperformed. But my worry is Vic Fangio is going to lose this defense like he lost the Miami defense. Well, it's not really my worry, but I would be worried. I would be worried about him losing this defense like he lost the Miami defense. Like you got a lot of young guys. You run a different.
But see what you're talking about though is like if he can get those young guys. Fangio is a fucking hound at this. He sends the dogs of war all the time. If they get home, then that scheme fits. It's gonna resonate in Philly because he blitzes like 70% of his plays or some shit. Fangio is notorious for sending heat. So if you're gonna have those athletic linebackers, Nolan Smith and whatnot, or even use guys like Cooper DeJean
he's out right now. He got hurt.
Oh, is he popping it?
Yeah, he's hurt.
That sucks.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is popping it
There you
too.
move.
I was gonna say he's a good. But overall, no, I think.
I mean, it's easy. You look at it's easily the
I
best
just
one.
think,
It's
I
the
think
best
they have
one.
the highest ceiling. They do. I just think they have the highest ceiling. Now, shit could still go
It's all about
horribly
your
wrong.
coaching staff at this point too.
Shit could still go horribly wrong. In any NFL team, that's the thing, right?
Because we thought that Kellen Moore would do better with the Chargers, and that didn't look very good.
Nope.
So I don't know how much Brandon Staley had on that, but it's still
Yeah.
it's still a little different though, right?
Yeah,
So I wonder. Coordinators still can make teams and can kill teams.
I don't disagree, but talent can also you can also ignore. You can play above a scheme. You can, and depending on Hurts's development, if he decides he doesn't like said player, depending on whatever kind of freedom he has the ability to dictate. Okay, question: who do you think is a better quarterback, Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Joe.
Okay. Well, then there you go. That's why that he's one and Dallas is two. There.
I think it's close, but I think Jalen Hurts is better because of the legs. And I do think that when Jalen Hurts, I don't know, we got to see Jalen Hurts on again. It's one of those guys you're just like, man, who am I getting? Really, like who am I getting?
Are you getting Jalen Hurts of last season, or are we getting Jalen Hurts of Super Bowl against Kansas City? Because he was a different man that day.
And even he threw the ball, and he even didn't run a lot. He still threw the ball on fucking point. Those passes were on point. Last year he didn't. I don't know if he had some leg injury or what, but he didn't look good last
He
year.
didn't look strong, right? That's for sure.
Well,
Next team.
Are we going to?
Are we going to jump to the Cowboys?
We're jumping the Cowboys so that we can collectively.
Okay, so we'll go with the Commanders then.
Yes, I'll give you some Commanders. So obviously for them, the biggest storyline is Jaden Daniels and what he's going to be able to do and bring to that franchise because they haven't had a franchise quarterback. I would like to say RG3 was kind of there, and Kirk Cousins was even a better representation of that because he had better, more strong
Kirk
cross
Cousins, he had like 3 really strong years in Washington, maybe even 4. Like, but they haven't been into an NFC Championship game. They haven't won a Super Bowl since the '80s. Like this franchise has been in the dark ages for a while. So they have some talent. Terry McLaurin is arguably he's bottom top 10 somewhere around there. If you start listing off wide receivers, he's got to be somewhere in that market, like 10 to 12. I don't know off the top of my head, but
a lot of those skill positions.
But the worry on that team is the big and uglies up front. They struggled last year, and they didn't really make any improvements that I can think of.
Sam Howell got laid out like 63 times or some shit last year.
Yeah, and I don't really know if they made very many improvements. And I thought in the draft they'd take somebody. And that's still my worry.
Right, but they didn't until like a 4th or 5th.
I mean, you look at it, you got McCollin and you got Dotson. Dotson hella came on towards the end of last year.
They signed Austin Eckler. They have Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Logan Thomas, when he's healthy, can still.
He's not on the team no more. So hold on there. You got Luke McCaffrey, rookie, coming in with Jamison Crowder, Ertz, and Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott, the kid out of K-State's probably gonna be a pass catcher, maybe not a blocker, pass catcher. So you're like Trev said, your skill positions are there. Where your offensive line, Jaden's still gonna move, but if you still can't protect him.
It seems like they're really counting on Jaden moving in that pocket and their pocket being better because maybe Sam Howell wants the ball too long. Maybe they had some injuries that they need to get right. But dang, there wasn't a lot of improvement first. Line that was really bad.
Speaking of holding on to the ball, can I just sidebar real quick because I read this stat that just absolutely. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, they're having a competition at QB between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, right? They were the only 2 quarterbacks in the NFL last year who held onto the ball for more than 3 seconds on average. The only 2, and now they're in the same quarterback room.
Nice.
How crazy is that? Out of all qualifying, anybody who held, I think it was 50 attempts, made a minimum of 50 attempts.
I heard that stat.
That is fucking ridiculous. And you know what? God
next on the list was
Sam
Sam Howell.
Seriously,
Next on the list was Sam Howell.
for
Holding the ball.
Yeah, right. Which is why Gino is getting the nod.
Defensively, though, I think that their line could be underrated, boys. If you look at Dante Fowler Jr., Deron Payne, and Jonathan Allen up front.
Nasty.
And you got the Newton kid that's coming in. He's been hurt, but Farrell's on the team now. He even played pretty good for you guys. He's not a blitzer. He's a run-stopping DN.
Yeah.
But then where you have problems is your back end, and you have Bobby in the middle. But after that, there's not a lot of shit going on back there. I mean, you got 4th and chin and 4th.
Not a lot of shit.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You're really counting on coach to get the most out of that defense
Yes.
because that defense had holes.
You got Mike Spernicki. That's
why they're 3rd.
If they could put a top 20, top 15, 20 defense out there, they'd be a lot more in series. But this offense has a lot of question marks. The defense has holes. But it's one of those teams where, for some reason, I bet you they could catch fire and go on a 5-6 game win streak somewhere in the middle of the season.
They could start playing some real upsets to teams like Dallas, to teams like I'm serious.
They could.
It's one of those teams that's super interesting going in because it's a regime change, it's a quarterback change.
Yep.
Traditionally, it's a dumpster fire, but we had a good example in D'Amico and CJ last year going and getting it done with they rotated the most starting offensive linemen in the entire league last year, and they won a playoff game with a rookie. So once again, it's not to say it can't be done, but it's way more potential than it is, guaranteed profit. Their floor is a lot lower than their ceiling is higher.
Let's jump into the New York Giants.
The Gigantes, the New York Football Giants.
Like we were talking about before, Hard Knocks. This is on the team that is, it's team building wise. It gives you that inside, that look where they're talking about. Do we want to sign Saquon or do we want to sign 3 offensive linemen? Now, out of the 3 offensive linemen they signed, none of them were really great. Runyon with John Runyon was the best of the three.
Getting old though.
Yeah, and he's on the older side. So you get those three linemen instead of Saquon. They bring in Devin Singletary, which, I mean, has that familiarity with Dayball, but it's not like they were great together.
Nope. Eric Gray's a new kid you just brought in, right? Is he the rookie?
Yes, I believe so. And they also, they brought in Drew Lock too.
Which I think Daniel Jones healthy is a better quarterback than Drew Lock.
At this point, yes, for sure.
I don't know, man. Drew Lock he just beat the Eagles last year. I don't know the last time Daniel Jones is going on.
I don't know.
No. Okay, look, I wish you the best of luck, Drew Lock. What the story was, he signed there with the idea that he thought he could start, but then all indications of this Hard Knocks is like Daniels is our dude.
No,
obviously that's where the money is.
Lock still has that. I think
Malik Neighbors is hopefully going to be a stud. I want to see him come in and have a good rookie year.
Their wide receiver core not looking bad though when you look at it on paper. Neighbors, Hyatt, Slayton, Wendell Robinson, Allen Robinson the second. Still older but still good done. Even Isaiah McKenzie. They're like they have their wide receiver room is not bad.
It's one of those things when those are some names that when they pop can easily all of those guys can give you 100 except for maybe Wandell's a little.
But he kind of started to shell last year. He's fast, but if you could get Neighbors, Hyatt, and Wandell going, those are three young guys.
Yeah.
Or Slayton filling in and Robinson filling in, you could start building something. Why, like Trev said, the running back room is.
Yeah, I mean,
and the line with Thomas, he's a good tackle. You just got the Smiths Jr. kid, so your line could be.
Evan Neal, unfortunately, too. That was a top 10 pick.
He's not even on their roster. Oh, he's just behind Elmanor. There's no way, dude. That guy's not that good.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions on offense. You're counting on Dayball to get the most out of them. That defense is the best part of this team.
That's the biggest question mark.
Dude, the line is studly.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, that D line has the potential to be top 5.
You got Thibodeau, Lawrence, and Burns.
Yeah. So barring any, shake up injury wise with that's where you're gonna make your money.
Banks played good last year. They also signed Isaiah Simmons. You see that?
Yeah, they got it. Simmons.
I was wondering where he was at. But your corners need to prove.
Well, they drafted Banks.
Right, and he played good last year, so this is year 2 for him. Newbin's a kid that they just took this year, but he's out, and so is their other guy. Mills is out.
Okay. They drafted that safety too, didn't they?
Yeah,
Newman. Yep. So I think linebackers. I'm not too,
no big names there.
But overall, okay. So
I still don't think you got it. We're gonna go through the Cowboys next, but
I agree. I don't know though. We were talking just earlier in the segment about how you think the Commanders and the Giants are pretty darn close, and after breaking down individually, they kind of do mirror each other in a lot of different ways. Where there could be some success, and there could be an absolute fall on your face.
There's bright spots and there's holes on both of them.
And it really depends on which ones shine more. Because if you got to play turnover-free ball. Both of those teams have to play
your quarterback
clean.
Can change a lot of those games.
Yeah, and I like my quarterback better if I'm the Commanders.
So let's jump into the boys.
I mean, yes, you can, but it's okay.
Let's all jump into the boys who finished. We all picked to finish second.
Yes.
Obviously, Dak's the starting quarterback. Contract dispute. CeeDee Lamb not showing up to camp. Contract dispute. When you look at this roster, you have your starters Ezekiel Elliott, your backups Rico Dwindle, and your next one is Deuce Vaughn out of K-State. I like the K-State kid, but how is he your second best running back in this room? Your wide receiver core, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert's okay. Your backups aren't really anything big. So your roster isn't as good as we're looking at. Jake Ferguson and Luke Schumacher are great at fucking
people
tight end.
Are like really high on this roster. I've heard a lot of smoke around this team. I'm just not buying it either.
And you have your stud Zach Martin, but after that, your offensive line's not really as good as it has been.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. I'm not sold, dude.
You said their ceiling is 10. You really think that's the most they get?
I think their ceiling might. Yeah, I think they might win 9. I don't even know, man. It's not good.
Under is for the season.
It's not a good. I don't love the. We haven't gone over defensively, but offensively, there's offensive line's question mark, running backs question mark. Your skill players in general. It's not like you have. I think that the Giants might have a better wide receiver core than the Cowboys, other than CeeDee Lamb. But you don't have another. You don't even have Cooks is your 2, Jalen Brooks, Devontae Turpin, Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert kind of started playing well, but
there isn't a strong 2 there for sure. Like Cooks had a kind of a decline last season. Maybe he could bounce back, but there's not really even another guy on the roster to challenge him.
Yeah, dude.
Can we get a collective 1, 2, 3, fuck the Cowboys? Yeah. No, this roster, I want them to sign back to $85 million annually a year. Give Zeke a $100 million contract, sign Deron Bland for fucking 6 years, give DeMarcus Lawrence an extension, keep this bandwagon together. Let's go. I can't believe you would break this up. It's been so successful.
You don't want to see Trey Lance start with the Cowboys?
Absolutely. Well, I want to see them pay Dak and then start Trey Lance. That's
That's our Cooper Rush.
They tried to kick the can down the road and they did it very, very unsuccessfully. There's going to be a lot of hell to pay this upcoming season. There's not enough talent on this roster to push it to the heights that they want to go. They don't have enough money to hold anybody next year, really, and they're going to have a bunch of angry people wanting money and no quarterback.
So defensively, you have DeMarcus Lawrence getting older, still playing good. Sam Williams, his backup's a guy that tore his ACL today. Mozzie Smith from Michigan.
We never want to see injury. I never wish that. I don't even care what roster you're on, whether you're a rival of mine. Health is imperative. You never want to see injury.
Then obviously you got Micah at the other end position. Eric Kendricks you signed from the Vikings, so that's a nice guy in the middle. Obviously your defensive backs, you got Bland on one side. You got Bland on one side. You got Hooker or Diggs on the other. But then your safeties are Malik Hooker and Wilson. So your defensive backs are easily probably the strongest part. I mean, you got Micah, who's a stud. DeMarcus Lawrence getting old. So your Eric Kendricks, that's if he's getting old too, though. So I mean,
he is. Yeah.
So if your defense has the potential to be very nice.
Still, yeah, with Parsons bringing that pressure and the defensive quality of backs that they have, it should be a solid defense.
It should be. But they did lose Dan Quinn. He is no longer the D coordinator there anymore.
That's going to be interesting, actually.
How much does that affect?
It affects that defense.
Yes, it is. So I think I couldn't believe we were all 4 on the same page. I kind of thought we were all 4 on the same page, but that's the NFC East. Let's pop into the AFC East. The 4 teams.
Okay.
Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, and the New York Jets. Trev, why don't you go first and we'll Charlie second?
All right, there's no question the Patriots are at the bottom of this list.
Okay.
No question at all.
No.
They're probably the worst roster in the NFL.
They're one of them. They're probably going to have a top. I would bet they have a top 3 pick.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
I put money on that.
Okay.
Now, top of the East, I like the Jets roster the best. Yes, we haven't really seen it yet, obviously, because Rodgers' injury last year, but I think they have the best roster in that division. The Bills, I feel like I trust them more. I feel like Allen, of course, we feel like he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. There's a lot of questions on who he's going to be throwing to, but I still think that he can probably get enough out of what there is. So it's going to be close, but I think I give the edge in my rankings to the Jets just because of the roster. Allen keeps it close because I think he's just that great. And then the Dolphins, I have them. The way I see the Dolphins is they're just that team that beats up on lower teams. And last year, whenever they played a good team, they lost. That's what it was. And with their injuries on defense coming into the year, not having those pass rushers, it's going to be it's gonna be tough. Like that offense, I still expect to pop. That defense is gonna be. It's not gonna be good.
The defense
It's
is
not gonna be
good.
good.
Charlie,
So that's how I have it.
Charlie,
I am not putting my faith in the Jets because the Jets
completely
find a way to
understand that.
fucking jet, dude. They're one of those franchises.
Yep,
Like,
they are.
But you paper-wise, you look at it and you go, ooh, ooh, ooh. There's a lot of names
Two
and
teams for me.
There's a lot of oohs. And it's just, are there ahs? But I can't, I have, and I've actually been a Josh Allen detractor overall for the panel of the three of us. I've probably been the lowest on him. But I have to say that I think he's hearing all this barking around him, and he's hearing the respect being put on Aaron's name, even though he played 4 plays last year. Tua just got paid. Like, you know, I think Josh Allen has something to prove this year, and I put Buffalo number 1.
Alright.
I do Buffalo, Jets, Miami, and then New England. Way. New England shouldn't even play this season. Like,
Just forfeit
yeah,
games.
dude, I mean, really, and I should knock on wood because we have them week 2, and that's just a game we go out there and botch, right? I'm talking all this shit about this roster, and they go out and fucking, give us a whopping. But anyway, Buffalo, New York, Miami. But see, it's weird because as you were talking about Miami, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, for some reason, there's just this aura around that team, and I think if they dial in what they had figured out correctly in the earlier part of last year, they could just fucking
Offense is still gonna be great.
Yeah, I can't. I have to stay with those are my predictions.
I'm going Buffalo, and then I struggled. I didn't struggle with the Buffalo one. That was keep easy for me.
And they're easier to trust for sure.
I struggled more at 2 because the fact that I don't love Miami as
So you like Drake May? You think that New England?
but I more
You think New England's gonna do it?
No, I thought New England at 4. I was more struggling with what I thought Miami could do over the Jets, but I'm going to say Jets at 2.
Exactly.
I'm going to say Jets at 2 because I don't like all the pieces that
All right,
the
so
Dolphins
you and
lost.
I agree, and then you flipped. You took the Jets 1.
Yeah, I took the paper team, the paper tiger, the Jets.
So let's get into the teams.
All right, who do we want to hit first, Chance?
Go, Trevor. You can take the Jets. You want him to take them first?
You wanted to lead with the Jets?
Yeah,
I'll take
go
them.
with the Jets. Let's all hit the Jets. So Aaron coming back healthy is an absolute necessity for them. If he can build a connection with Garrett Wilson, he has proven to have great hands, great route running, good feet. He's a clear number 1 in this league right now. You got Sauce on defense, or do you want me to do offense?
Let's talk Jets. Let's
Hit it all.
All right, so then you did. You could bring in Mike Williams, who, barring his best ability, needs to be his available.
That goes with this whole fucking roster.
Yeah, that's
the
roster for me.
Even the dudes I like.
Brees Hall is a fucking stud.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, and then they had that
Very
kid.
conservative
They
well.
had that kid they drafted out of Penn
Brandon-
State,
Brandon-
Mukamura or something.
They drafted Brandon Allen out of Wisconsin, the running back.
Oh yeah,
wow.
okay,
well,
big Wisconsin boy.
He's a huge. He's
I
got
also have Terry Cohen on that roster as
Correct.
well.
Has he got anything left?
No, I don't know.
But he's a third back at
He had like a year and a half in Chicago, and then was never able to
But your
replicate.
receiving core is where it gets because Garrett Wilson said right.
Yes.
Malik Corley, we haven't seen him. Lazard shouldn't even be on this roster. Like we
a 3.
Mike Williams is super questionable. So it's all about what this rookie can do, and old Lazard and a beat up Mike Williams at your receiving core.
Yeah, but all those guys are like the third option because you got your 2 options.
Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson need to pop.
And your tight ends aren't even like outstanding. Your offensive line with John Simpson and Tippin being like young guys, that kind of helps. But then all the other dudes, even though I love Eric Tucker, you have Tyron Smith injured, Eric Tucker injured, Morgan Moses injured.
No, it's you're hoping that Aaron Rodgers comes back and looks like Aaron Rodgers. Like, and if he does, he's got enough pieces in place.
And that's why I'm still like hung up on this team. Yes, they're a paper tiger, but like I'm not out on Rodgers. I know everybody hates Rodgers, but man, that guy can play if he's fucking healthy.
I don't like listening to him, but I like watching him play football.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful D-ball.
That weird little sidestep flick thing he does is pretty fucking impressive.
And I think everybody's just forgot about it because of the injuries and
it's
the
recently
poor
guys.
play in
Well,
the
he's
last
40.
couple years.
It's not like he's 24, he's 40. Like, there
It's
is.
true.
But Hackett's still calling plays.
Well,
I mean,
won
is
two
he
MVPs. He
calling
won
plays
2
or is there
MVPs.
not
Not with him calling plays.
Well,
LaFleur was
Hackett.
calling plays.
Well, whatever. He was technically there. He was the OC at that time in Green Bay. That's why he got the job in fucking Denver.
I still think
Bring Hackett
Aaron
back to
Rodgers
Denver, right? I think that
is
that could
the
still work out.
decision between him and the OC Hackett.
Bring
I
Hackett
think
back to
Hack.
Denver.
Defensively, they're pretty stacked.
Yes, that's the other
Quinn
reason.
Williams is a monster.
That's the other reason.
Well, Jeremiah Johnson, kid out
Yeah.
of Florida State a couple years ago, stud.
Yeah.
Kinlaw fills a hole. Solomon Thomas is still on the team. Quinn Williams is
Yeah,
stud.
Kinlaw and Solomon Thomas.
Yes,
Those
they
are
do.
2 reject Niners right
They
there.
got more than that. but that's
Hassan
just a
Reddick and
couple.
Will McDonald.
Oh, I
Will
guess that makes
McDonald.
sense.
Well, Reddick's
It's
holding
Salah.
out. Reddick's
Yeah.
holding out.
Yeah, never played a snap in that jersey, and he's already holding out. That's wonderful.
Your linebacking course, okay, and then your defensive backs obviously are led by Sauce and DJ Reed are up there. You're with those two, it's good, but I mean, your linebackers are Mosley's hurt all the time.
When he's healthy, though, he's another
Yes.
player that's just on another. He'll be the leader for sure if he can stay
You're
healthy.
just
There's a lot of health concerns on this team.
Exactly. More so than any other team, and
Yeah.
I don't even think it's close.
No,
Dude,
you're not
it's
wrong.
I mean, health is always a question mark, but you're talking about a team where you have consistent superstars who are unhealthy. Like,
For sure.
if they even can rotate that list of names and get 14 to 17 games, out of some of those dudes, like, they could have a shot. Because even the Bills, even though I picked them first, I don't think they're like a runaway by any means. Like, I don't think that the Jets. I think the Jets could win this division. I don't disagree with that take. I'm not like that's trash. Like, I don't know. I don't want to put my eggs in the what if bucket.
Oh,
at
and
all
putting
for
it
this
in
one.
a basket that's been the organization like the Jets. I understand how hard that is.
Organizationally, they've just been porous for years, dude. Even the Rex Ryan years, they still didn't have a good front office. Like,
No. Let's jump to those Bills that we just mentioned. Obviously, quarterback, you stud, Josh Allen. I still think your running back room's weak. I love Cook. I wish they were. One of my complaints was not going and getting somebody else. Maybe another banger, somebody like a bigger back of some sort. You got Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, and Evans. I think all those guys are young, so that kind of makes me nervous.
what are you talking about?
Drafted Frank Gore
I
Jr.
was about to say, dude, they got
But there's a lot of
lineage.
questions there.
Lineage.
Your running back or your wide receiver, Shakur started
There's
coming
more
on.
questions there too.
He started coming on at the end of last season.
I want to see Keon Coleman. Just
I do too.
ball.
Yeah, I like that kid.
Put a camera on him wherever he goes. He's fucking hilarious.
But nobody,
dude.
I mean, Chris Claypool is a killer. He's just not
I don't
good
know.
at-
I like the Matt Collins better than everybody else.
Curtis Samuels can be a sneaky weapon in
Yes.
that offense, dude.
I think he should be their second
He's a
receiver.
gadget player. He can run deep. He can run crossers. He can play in the backfield.
Well,
Like,
that's-
he's a really unique player.
That's
he's,
why.
he's like a smaller Debo.
That's why if you look
He's not
at.
as talented.
That's why if you look at their Shakir, Coleman, Samuel, and Kincaid.
Not terrible.
That.
Not terrible.
But then your backups is Scandling. He's got a. He's. Yep. Chase Claypool's not good, but I really love Matt Collins, and then Dawson Knox is your backup tight end. So I think you do have a little more depth there than we think. I like.
all of those guys that you just named at some point in their career have put up really solid numbers. And if you get a guy like Josh Allen throwing you the rock,
Matt Collins did it with Derek Carr.
right? No, I know. Yeah,
Dude, he can run down the sideline. He could run down the sideline and have a bigger arm throw to him. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Your line though, that's where you start. You drafted a couple guys recently, so you got some of those guys. So that's kind of where your question is. Does the line kind of come together offensively? And I still think running back, man. I'm still.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not that consistency at some of those skill positions for the Bills. we want to see Allen bring that out of him, and we think we can, or he can, because we think he's that guy.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a real interesting year for that offense.
And defensively,
I like Brady though for their OC.
I do too. I think he did lots of good.
Well, and I will say, I think that they made the right transition. I think Claypool might be a cancer.
I don't
but
love him, but I
I
like
think,
a lot
but
of
I think
guys.
overall they really tried to do
I do too.
team building, which is, you know,
Coleman comes in.
yeah, and I think that Kincaid and Knox play well together,
Yeah.
and I think that obviously Cook had a big role last year. If he takes a step forward,
You-
that
now Kincaid and Coleman are kind of your dudes, and then you
you
got
hope so.
Samuel
That's
catching balls and
what you want to
shooting.
push through, yeah. But I'm just saying, I think they got a lot of guys that understand that it's a team game, and you got getting rid of Diggs was the best thing that locker room could have done. Like statistically, Diggs is one of the better Buffalo wide receivers we've ever seen. But like, where does the stats overthrow the locker room? Right? It got past that point.
Yeah.
Right, and then your defensive line, you got Ray Rosario, Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver, AJ Espinosa. And then you got linebacker Matt Milano. When he got hurt last year, that's when you kind of saw a decline in that defense.
You took a big deep breath.
He's
Yeah,
a stud.
for sure.
And then I do like the Nick.
Miller was hurt too.
Yeah, and see, he's the one of the backup behind Espinosa, so you're bringing him in just to blitz. Dwayne Carter's not a bad backup either. So your line's pretty good. Your front seven's not even bad. Even with Morrow and the Bernard kid at linebacker, you're still front
also
seven.
talking a lot of those guys have been there.
Yeah.
Right? So you're talking. This is the difference between the Jets and the Bills right here. Is that like the Jets have those oohs and the ahs as far, but that's just these are 1 year guys coming together trying to build a team to make a run. Whereas you got a team in Buffalo that has stayed together more so than not. They did lose their center. They did, Mitch Morris was, I think, a bigger loss than people are talking about.
Huge signing for the Jags.
Yeah.
And on that back end of that Bills defense too, you got a lot of new pieces as well. So you got
That's true. That's true too. Yeah, because they let go of Tre'Davious White.
But see, some of these guys did play last year because those guys were all hurt last year
That
too.
is true.
So that's why Rapp got the new contract, right? Taylor Rapp's the one that got the new contract. Elam's a kid that came out of Florida who's,
He's had a roller coaster of a career. He's
So
had
we'll
some
see,
good
but you-
games and some pretty poor.
So that would be, I guess, where your hole would be back end if you had a hole on defense. Back
yeah,
end.
there's some questions there.
Who do you like?
They
Cole
could
Pitts.
come
Who do you
together.
like better as a head coach?
This kid,
Saleh or McDermott?
McDermott. So
I
I
think
still don't.
Saleh has been getting a free pass.
I do
because
too.
of all of the shit
I
that's
do
been
too.
going on
For
on
sure.
the roster.
I think that
But
we
last
watched.
year wasn't great for McDermott either. Like,
But he
You
did-
were barking.
I still
He had
think-
the fire in
I
McDermott
still
for
think
me.
he's hot.
yeah, like
I-
both of these coaches definitely got a lot of.
I think this is the
That's
safest
right.
coach in the next team with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I agreed. That offense is popping.
Dude, I know we'll go through this roster.
Between his scheme and just the
Listen-
weapons.
Listen
that
to
they
this.
have.
Listen to this running back room. Raheem
Yeah,
Morris,
this is a running back.
Davon A-Chain, and Jalen Wright. That's even before you get to
A-Chain.
Jeff Wilson.
Achan averaged 8 yards per carry.
Jalen Wright from Tennessee is going to be sick in that offense.
Yards per carry.
I've-
Let that set in. You get signed if you average 4 yards per carry. He was double that every time he toted the rock. Now,
Here's
he
your-
got hurt quick.
Here's your pass catchers:
Oh,
Tyreek
yeah.
Hill, Jalen Waddle, Odell Beckham
Yeah,
Jr.
Ronald Odell.
Your tight end is John Smith. Your backup, Malik Washington, a kid that I think me and Trev both like coming out of the draft. What did you think? I don't remember what you thought of him. He was kind of down there, but I thought me and you liked him.
Yeah, the skill position for Miami is
And
great.
you got my guy Alec Ingold at fullback. Your line again is a lot of lines, man. We're talking about a lot of offensive
Well,
lines.
you know what's scary too is the offensive lines are declining.
Thanks for
The
us.
defensive lines are only getting better.
They're getting way more
We're
athletic.
getting more prospects in the interior and the exterior lines than we've ever seen collectively.
Yep.
Now, we did get a reprieve in the NFC West as Aaron Donald finally retired. Thank God for that. But you brought in Christian Wilkins.
I do,
You
so
know,
stud.
Crosby, and we'll obviously cover that in a later pod.
But that's what you're looking at this defense right
I think
now.
there's way more better defensive lines than offensive lines across the NFL.
Yep.
And I don't even think it's close.
When you're going through this defensive roster, your back end is easily the best part of this defense. Up front, Jalen Phillips coming off an injury. Chubb's coming off injury. You just signed David Long.
They signed my boy Jordan Brooks.
Yes. Calais Campbell's getting super old. He's one of your offensive linemen. Your back end is good with Fuller at one side, Ramsey on the other. Jevin Holland from Oregon's been hot.
Yeah.
And Hoyer got hurt. He got hurt. He was one of the hurt guys last year, so he's coming. So again, your defensive line not good. Your back end is getting older, but could be good.
So they're gonna have to boat race people. They're gonna have to get up quick and sustain.
That could work with that offense, though.
No, it could. Which is why I honestly.
It's the best running back we've gone over.
It's why the last 2 years when I'm talking about my rankings and my winnings and even my fantasy, I've gone off of hype and I've got shit on. I need to look more towards the ratios and the narratives and the analytics of all of it, if you will, because the tingles that I have had over the last couple of years have not meant shit. Because I'm getting that with this Miami team, and I'm not going to push them towards the front. I'm not falling for the fucking,
the carrot,
the hollow fucking, candy.
I love candy. I always have candy right now.
And we normally we do.
Last team.
Oh my
Probably the
God.
worst roster.
Do we even really need to go?
Yeah, we gotta go through because there's
There's some shit there that could be at least worth the big question, or how long does Brissett hold off May? That is.
I think you gotta try to do all year. I think you eat the bag of dicks. I think you go all year.
I think you kind of accept the idea that the other three teams we just mentioned are clearly better.
Yep.
Like if Drake May was coming into a place,
There's no point in shooting his confidence.
With that, or putting him out there for injury.
Correct.
Yeah.
The only reason you put him out there, I think, is just to get that experience.
Real
And
NFL time.
that's not going to be from the beginning of the season. Like, no way can I see him starting the season. He's definitely he'll get some time, but I don't think he comes until later.
Yeah. And then your running back room is the best part of this offense. Ramon Stevens and Antonio Gibson. That's probably the best part of this offense.
That was a sneaky good signing. They got him away from the Commanders.
KJ Osborne and Juju Smith are listed as backups behind Kendrick Bourne and DeMario Douglas. Polk was a good signing.
Polk. I like Polk.
But Hunter Henry, Austin
Husky,
Hooper.
baby.
We do like Hunter Henry, but
Austin Henry.
when was the last time Hunter Henry did anything? Same with Austin Hooper.
In a Charger uniform.
Well, and Austin Hooper, when did he do? I mean, he hasn't
In
done.
a Atlanta uniform.
So-
he went to Cleveland and did.
When he was on the Raiders, he
And
didn't
then
do
he
anything
went
last
to
year.
Tennessee and did boo-boo. He's done nothing.
He was on the Raiders last year, and the
He was on the
rookie.
Raiders last year?
Yeah, and the rookie beat are the guys.
Michael Mayer?
Yeah, just destroyed him. So I mean,
A lot
and
of
then
questions on that roster.
and your line, dude. Mike Inua at right tackle, good.
Christian Barmore just got put on the permanent injured list with blood clots, dude.
Yeah.
That just happened today. Yeah, your big run stopper out of Alabama, dude. Like, that's unfortunate. Once again, man, like.
Because that line would have been pretty good with him on it. When you start looking D-line,
And you got
Kevin White.
Gerard Mayo coming in as your head coach, who's going to really fortify that defense.
Yeah,
that's
because
what he
you
does.
got Kenyon White kid out of Georgia Tech a couple of years ago that we liked.
That's right.
It would have been Judon and Christian Barmore, so Barmore's out with that thing that Chuck just talked about.
That sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
Linebacker-wise, your mediocrity. Your Kyle Duggar, Jarrell Peppers, your safeties. Christian Gonzalez is a stud. He only played 5 games, but looked really good.
Too.
So
Don't undersell.
Do you think there's a chance that maybe one of those linebackers pops good just now that they have the head coach with the linebacker? You think
Probably.
you can find somebody that can.
I think that isn't Joshua Uch pretty good? The kid.
Uche? Yes, Uche is a pretty good player. No, that defense is manageable, but that offense is going to score 7.5 points a
They're
game,
not going to
dude.
be enough.
No, they're going to struggle to put up 13 points a game, bro. Like, that offense is bad. I love me some Jalen Polk as a Husky fan, but who you just listed in front of their backups? If their backups are supposed to be KJ Osborne, and who's the other one you read?
Juju. So I even like KJ Osborne more than some of their starters.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know how they're.
Jalen Rager's on that team too, but he hasn't done anything.
I make fart noises with my mouth.
So, we almost all agreed on everything. Trev's the only one that. Good job, Trev. Thanks for not agreeing.
You know, I kind of break it up a little bit.
I almost went Dolphins in front of Jets, but I don't know if I can.
I mean, I see that though. Like the Jets have enough to, if things break their way, they can surprise. I wouldn't trust them in the playoffs, but I could trust them to still like be a contender in this division.
This is another division that when you start looking at it, do you take only one team? Because they kind of beat themselves up. Because we're going to get into an AFC North
It could be
and an AFC South that could each put 2 in.
I mean, I think I kind of like the East to get 2 teams unless injuries fall upon 2 of the top teams.
Should, in theory, get 3. They have rosters up and down.
Well, it depends on quarterback play.
Yeah,
it does. It really does. And the same with AFC South, same thing. Dude, we're going to get into these divisions.
Don't preview too.
I'm already putting 2 in the AFC West, so AFC West getting 2 coming up.
Our upcoming pods with more breakdowns, but let's go ahead and roll into
Fandom?
Fandom. Absolutely. All right, so Z, you be rocking some fresh garb over there.
Yeah, so I went to another A's game, watched another win, so I'm 2 for 2 this year in A's games.
That's a good feeling.
Got this hat.
We'll cheers to that.
My wife got the shirt. A lot of this stuff was on sale, like online.
Yeah,
I feel it. It's one of those like
mesh.
no
breathable.
Yeah, breathable. It's nice.
That's the kind of material that this shirt's made out of as well.
I had that Drake's beer at the game that I'm talking. No,
See,
I didn't talk about
out of Drake.
yeah, the Drake's beer. It was the Hoot. It was a high. It was a hazy. It was delicious. It was way better than the hazy we had today. Like it was actual hazy. But it was really good. But a really good game. Love going to the games there.
Who did you play?
Played the Angels. So we've been Astros and Angels. Saw Rooker drop a fucking bomb. There was
all AL West.
Yep.
Okay.
It's been great going twice this year. I love going to those games. Maybe the last time I get to go to the Coliseum to watch a game. We'll see. We might try to fit one more in.
But big golf clap to that, man. Getting down there and getting that. I respect the shit out of that.
Then I went to an Aces game middle of the week a couple weeks ago. We went with a co-worker with Angelique and her husband. Got behind the plate seats. If you've been to the Aces game, the ones that are on like field, like you're at watching it, dude, it was the best seats I've ever had ever. The sound of the bat from there, watching the diving plays at that angle, not up because you're even with them. It was everything. It was watching the bombs. It was a fucking great.
Make you want to go grab a glove. I'm coming out there, boys. Put me in, coach.
It was sick, dude. It was awesome.
Hell
So I'm
yeah,
in a couple A's games or a couple baseball games. So yeah, that's the old fan of loving my baseball right now. I'm loving it.
Well, there's been some good ball, man. We're coming down the stretch. Trev?
Well, I got to touch on NCAA. That just dropped. We just started our Balls&Brews Dynasty, which I'm a bit worried about. Don't know. It might be more of a battle to keep the job than make the playoffs, is what it's looking like on this All-American League. But I just wanted to put it out there that, hey, streaming on Twitch TV, Dragon_beef at Twitch TV. So you come watch the season with us.
Absolutely.
There'll be some, I'm streaming all the games, but we're hoping for some good user games, hoping for some playoffs. It was a rough beginning, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, it sold off the charts. NCAA moved units just like they thought it would. There's been nothing but conversations around it. I've watched different YouTube videos about the pluses and the minuses, and from those, from a person who has both played Madden very recently as well and NCAA. The gameplay itself, I would say, is a little bit more cohesive in the college game. But there are some fucking death traps in that game, man. Like, if your quarterback doesn't have an arm, don't put that motherfucker over the middle. Or, they're the CBs, the breaking of the routes, the understanding of the timing on the defense, even on All-American is fucking impressive.
I mean, you're telling me I don't play Madden because I have I'm at ends with Matt. Me and Matt have some issues that we're trying to work out, and it's been a long process, and we haven't agreed yet.
Charlotte Oswald is going to be on Twitch as well here soon. We're going to be streaming for sure. We're going to be getting all that going. It's electric. I forgot. This is going to be part of my family as well too. It's like I forgot how much they're meaningful games in the sense of when I'm doing play now and I'm just dicking around, and if I want to go for it on fourth down,
it feels different in that dynasty, man.
It was hilarious. I think it was Tucker who sent a team text. He said, "Make sure to buy some extra controllers because there's always that one game, man, that just fuck," and you just smack that thing down, and then you're double angry because you destroyed your controller and you lost the game. And there's nothing like that game to piss me off. When it goes great, you feel like you're floating. You're on top of the world. You're nailing the game. You're on your way to a natty. And when you lose it, you just want to strangle something. Like it is just intense. And I love that EA brought it back. I love that they brought it up from the ground up. What do you think of the recruiting?
So it's similar. I still haven't. I mean, I'm still kind of getting a feel for it. I felt like I was good at recruiting. That was one of my better strengths in the older game because I like that team building aspect. And I felt like I was able to put some good teams together. I'd probably give you better odds as far as the gameplay goes. You might have had more national championships than anybody when we played back in the day. It was definitely, you were up there for one of the top competitors.
I got to the point where I would only lose user games pretty much,
because those are different. They hit different.
Well, your team plays different. You can't and one thing I have noticed is, and it makes sense, the AI is much better. They do not let you spam plays. Back in 14, I only ran 7 plays offensively, maybe 10. I ran very specific setup plays and then packages off them depending on what hash I was on. And maybe I'll get to that one in this game too because I'm still figuring out the playbooks and whatnot. But that game was easy to spam certain plays. You could understand by lineups where the coverages were going to be. They disguise things now specifically. They have show this.
Are better.
It has show cover 2. Be in cover 9, so you think the guy's going to be in the flat, but then he cuts back to that drop, and then the out route isn't there, and then you throw the pick 6. And I haven't done this yet. I'm just saying this is hypothetical. No. But overall, EA, good game. I know that you're still working on updating some things. The presentation, it looks amazing. It looks beautiful.
And I put it out on Instagram and Twitter. I have our Dynasty. I have the guys that are in it. Some of the guys, like Kyle, he's done a little streaming.
Absolutely.
So you'll get some streaming from some of us. We're going to try and build that up so you get more of it. And we're going to hope that it goes better than it started because we're breaking it back in.
There's some rust. An 8th member. Okay, everybody in the comment section harass Zach.
We're working on this guy.
He has the PS5.
I've been playing a lot of Dragon Ball Z.
Which is great. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying you're missing the opportunity of a lifetime right now. It's in the game. EA.
It doesn't say that anymore though.
No, because it's because it has the crowd saying it. It has a college crowd saying, but you can barely hear it. Overall 4 stars, which is cool. I don't think it's not a bad game, and it's not super broken. Tackling is fucking impossible, but that's another argument for another day, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, some updates are needed, but we're still again knocking off some of that rust. Like I said, it's been a couple of years for me myself trying to get back into that, and with all the different new mechanics and the play styles, it's great though. Still great.
So my individual fandom, as I kind of coupled a little part of the fandom with you, was I touched on this a little earlier in the pod that my friend and I we drove out to Utah to run Spartan Beast to complete our trifecta. So we ran the sprint, the super, and the beast. And we ran the beast in a nationally ranked course. It was the 3rd hardest course that they put on. And it has
It had over 3,700 feet of elevation change.
That's all you, bro.
So you started at the base of the mountain was like 6,300 feet, and we climbed to like 91 or 92 overall, and then back down. It was everything and then some that I had physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the whole nine. I was questioning a lot of things along the way.
Did Dynasty carry you through?
I mean, no, bro. I like that you guys giggle, but like the thought processes were survival mode, man. To the motherfuckers who go out there and run that shit, and so there was 12 competitors who ran sub 3 hours, 2 hours and 48 minutes. Okay, you guys ready for this? 7.5 hours is what it took me to do that course, and I didn't even do all the obstacles. I'll be forthright with y'all. I did not succeed on all the obstacles. I had no legs, I had no arms, I had no nothing left towards the end of it. But I do want to say that I think it's a wonderful thing that Spartan has put together. They've bought and Tough Mudder. They're now under one umbrella. They're not separate anymore. But it's just they support, veterans and the injured, and they do a lot with, different agencies like that, and like first responders, and a lot of their money goes to a lot of different charities. The Wounded Warrior Project is part of it. So it goes, there's a lot of good causes behind Spartan and what they stand behind. And I love the principles. And I just think it's really impressive and super neat. I talked to a bunch of people. You guys know me. I was, chatting faces off and vice versa when I could catch my breath. But, just the camaraderie and pushing yourself. And I trained my ass off for like 2.5 months, climbing up the side of Peavine several times. So that might be my retirement run. It pretty much put the fear of God into me for a little bit. So we're going to have to let that one simmer out. But overall, I got all 3 pieces of my medal, so now my medal's complete, which is fucking legit. And shout out to Spartan as an organization. That's my fandom. I appreciate y'all. You were there. It was a good experience overall. But will I run another beast? Only if it's flat. I ain't going back up that mountain again, dude. Oh my lord. Well, that's it, y'all. That's Pod 60. Thanks for being around with us. We're going to continue on our next couple of pods, breaking down divisions and moving forward as we get super close to the NFL season. We got to talk some fantasy, got to talk some bets. We'll go into all that fun stuff, odds. We do have the, Balls and Brews parlays that we do throughout the year, so those are going to be coming back, which is always fun. Check us out, X, Instagram, Buzzsprout, Spotify, YouTube for the faces.
Next week, trade deadline.
And
Olympics. So
yeah,
a lot of Olympics, a lot of trade deadline next week, and then obviously we got AFC and NFC North.
We're gonna hit the North, dude. Those are 2 juicy divisions that we're gonna cover. So make sure you come back. We'll see you then.